Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Twitch here for another edition of Lab Rats Culture. This is actually the first one of 2018, which I'm incredibly excited about. I'll be talking with Jaja Vankova, and you guys, y'all know Yaya, and if you don't know her by her name, you definitely know a vid that you've seen at some point in time. I've known her for, almost 7 years now, and over those 7 years, I have seen her. Come to America, win the show ABDC with the crew IAMMe. I've seen her do various concept videos. I've seen her go on to a show named So You Think You Can Dance and go to the spot as a runner-up, right? And you guys, she has done this, with the top tier training from hip hop and street dance pioneers, with the work ethic that is second to none, which she'll also be talking about, and also many other philosophies in the ways that she creates and is also bringing up proteges and students, and she gives shouts out to her teachers as well. So guys, this is going to be an awesome episode, jam-packed full of gems to take with you, and for dance enthusiasts, for dancers, dance students, dance teachers, and all around fans of Yaya, you definitely do not want to miss this one. Check it out. All right, y'all, welcome back for another edition of Lab Rats Culture. I am Twitch, and I am here with one of your favorites. One of the most distinguished, and somebody I think is shaping culture right now. I'm here with Jaja Vankova. Did I say that right? I said it right.
Yes,
I
you
said
did
it
say
all
it
right.
right. Good,
Dude, I'm so excited to have you here. I was just saying before we even started, filming, I'm excited to have you here just because, when I was even thinking about this, you were one of the names on like the first list that I put together. It's just, because this is something that I think is going to be really important and needed because I feel like we're seeing you a lot of places, right? But but there's so much more than what we see, right? You know what I mean? You're super, super talented, but also there's like such a creative mind in there too.
Thank you.
That I've got to witness over the years that I now want you guys to witness. So thank you very much for coming on.
It's a really huge honor for me to be here. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, I've
Absolutely.
been watching like almost all the episodes of Lab Rats Culture. Like this is literally like one of my favorite podcasts
Oh,
ever.
that's what's up, man.
So
Thank you.
it's really appreciated. Yeah.
Thank you, and I appreciate you, taking the time to come back because I know you've been traveling quite a bit. You've been all over the globe, man.
Yes.
Like that's pretty amazing though, because it's like, let's see, how long have you been dancing collectively now?
I've been dancing collectively 16 years. I mean,
16 years.
I started from a really young age. I mean, okay, when I started to visit a dance group was when I was 10 years old. So it was about 16 years ago. But I always had like love for dancing when I was little. And I would always used to like dance in my living room and watch, music videos. I would watch like Shakira. Shakira was one of my favorites.
Shakira? Really?
Yes. Her song, Whatever.
Hips don't lie?
Whatever.
Oh, yeah.
So I would watch that music video a lot. I would watch Madonna a lot.
Uh-huh.
And one of my inspirations was also I'm Really Hard by Missy Elliott. And I used to watch the clowning in that music video a lot. But at the time, I didn't know what is it.
Yeah.
I used to always watch like, okay, nobody's watching me. Okay, I will try it right now.
Yeah.
And I used to like try to imitate them, So that was like my first inspirations when I was like already like 5, 6, 7 years old. And then when I started to visit a dance crew, my friend from school, she brought me into this dance crew in a really small town when I was growing up. I grew up in like really small town. It's like 5,000 people only. Everybody know everybody. Like nature everywhere, cows, sheep, stuff like that. So that's where we did our little dances, So that's where I started. Yeah.
Now, what kind of explain to us like what kind of dancing this was? Because I would also imagine that this was maybe a time before YouTube was like what YouTube is now, right? So, you know, a lot of the dance that you saw, maybe you saw on TV or film, or maybe cultural dances as well. What kind of dances were you doing?
Yeah, so this was before YouTube. I remember I was still like researching on the internet, like, oh, where can I see some dance videos, or music videos mainly. But how I always explain it, like what kind of dance it was something between like aerobics and what is Zumba nowadays.
Oh, really? Okay.
So yeah, I cannot call it hip hop. Like it was some mix of dance movement and workouts together. Okay. We did like the same routines for 3 years over and over to different music too. Yeah.
That's amazing.
So that's it. Yeah, that's where I was starting. And like the first hip hop like I saw was like when I was 13. And that's when I met Henry Link for the first time actually.
Wow.
And it's crazy because he actually came to our small village to teach a workshop. The organizers from our village, they brought him there. And it was like seeing him on the stage dancing and teaching us. I was amazed.
Absolutely.
Like I was like, okay, what is this?
Absolutely.
What are we doing? Like, what is this groove? Like, I need to know. I need to know this. You know. So yeah, that like it was legendary for me. Later, when I realized like that Henry Link was in my town teaching workshop, when I realized that later, I was like, okay, that was like really incredible.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he was even in our little like town newspaper. Like it was like a really huge event for us. Yeah.
Right, because it's like, I mean, something like that. Also, you look at that, and that's like, man, that had to be like almost like a. It was like divine, kind of meant to be, right? Because Link, we've referenced him a couple times in the episodes before. Link is from like the legendary Elite Force Mop Top family, who are like pioneers of of the hip hop style and hip hop outside of b-boying, popping, and locking, but party dancing, choreography. You know, they dance for Mariah Carey. So for him to come to be in a place like that, just randomly teaching class. I mean,
Super
random. it's also one of those things too, which I'm sure, just in full circle fashion, I'm sure that you get to experience sometimes too, is that you never know who you're teaching, right?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, because it would have been one thing for him to be there and be like, what am I doing in this place? Like, you know what I mean? They don't know anything about the style that we're doing, like all that. But little did he know that he had Yaya in his class. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it definitely like it was all little. We were little kids, we were like 10, 11, 12, 13 years old, and like nobody had no clue about what hip hop is, what are we doing, like who is Henry Link, So yeah, and like he's been my teacher since then, and I remember even at that time he came there because there was a really big battle going on. It was called Dancer of the Year, and it was actually pretty cool because one organizer, his name is ABDC, he managed to put this battle on a TV in the main time on the main channel. And the battle was kept the way battle is. Like there was no into it. So it was really cool for normal people to be able to see like a real battle,
Absolutely.
And so he came there to our town because they did like a little preselection in our town, And like he's been my teacher since then. And I remember like I was 13 and we went to a club. It's a little bit different in my country. Like we go to clubs already in a young age, So yeah, I was already battling at a time at 13 in clubs, And so he really changed my life because we went to a club and they played this song, ooh wee. They played this song and he grabbed my hands and he showed me the musicality of the song with my hands. And I was just standing there and I was like, okay, what is happening right now?
Yep.
And he was showing me the musicality. I was like, okay, that really changed my life, 100%. So yeah, like you really never know who you're teaching, like, like what's gonna happen, and like you really never know. He had a really huge impact on my dance career. Yeah.
And I think it's dope too because he's he's one of the real ones. He's one of the ones that's like that's not gonna give you easy props by any
Yeah,
means, right?
definitely.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Because
definitely.
I shared
Yeah.
the same experience also in a club where he didn't grab my hand. So he actually I was like dancing. I thought I was getting off. I thought I was getting off. And he was just sitting there, and then without moving too much, he was like, "No, you're missing all of this." And then he just started dancing, and I was like, "I'm not that good." You know what I mean? I'm like, "I'm not that good." You know, it's just, but I think it's really important though, that you have people around you that kind of like that won't give you the like easy like woo like yeah
Yeah,
like you know what I
yeah.
mean. It's like nah, you can do that way
Yeah.
better, and you're missing this
Yeah.
and that, you
Yeah,
know.
I mean, I've really waited for years to get props for him. You
Right.
know, it probably took like 10 years before he gave me some props, but you know, it is also amazing how he always looks at you with a smile on, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you are not doing it right," you
Yeah,
know. But he doesn't
yeah.
tell you straight.
Yeah.
He just like has this smile on, like,
Yeah.
"Let me show you,"
Yeah.
okay? I'm like,
Absolutely,
dang.
man. Absolutely. Now let's talk about your teaching for because I mean you've I mean like I said you've been traveling all over the globe, not only battling but teaching. So what has that experience been like for you? You know, coming from a small town where you know
Yeah,
statistically you know I don't know if you were supposed to come out like
yeah,
that. You know,
yeah. I
with
don't even
this
know how
much
that happened.
culture
Yeah,
on you. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So it's like how has that been traveling around the world and also having people, you know, not in an egotistical standpoint, but look up to you like, yo, I want
Mhm,
to dance like that. You know what I
mhm,
mean? Not, it's just from my standpoint, it's incredible.
mhm.
Like, you know,
Yeah, I mean, I really feel a lot of responsibility. That's like the
mm,
first thing, you know, because everywhere I come, yeah, exactly. Like I don't know what happens. Like the talent is different in every
mm-hmm,
country, and
mm-hmm,
like I feel really honored and appreciated that
mm-hmm,
like the organizers really pick me to bring me out there, you
mm,
know, for whatever reasons, you know, and I always try to do my best, you know, and even more than what I'm supposed to, you know, like I really pick the talent, and like I make sure that like they get the knowledge, and I teach them more, you know, and I
mm-hmm,
teach them 101 as well, you know, and I give them
mm,
more knowledge
mm-hmm,
if they're really interested. If
mm-hmm,
I see that somebody is really interested and they really want to know the
mm-hmm,
knowledge, like I can spend hours with them, you know,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
to be really giving them the knowledge, because I know that like other countries, they don't get the opportunities like, you know, like we in America, you know, or
Right.
like I don't know, France or Japan, you know.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And yeah, I've been traveling so many countries by now, probably over 40 or 50 countries now. And
Wow.
yeah, I started because of IAMMe.
Mm-hmm,
So we started traveling at the time after we won America's Best Dance Crew, and then slowly I started to travel solo a lot. And
mm-hmm,
as much as the travels are very difficult sometimes,
mm-hmm,
I love it. I really love to spread the knowledge, and also that's the reason why I train so hard, because
mm,
I feel really the responsibility to give the people as much as I
mm-hmm,
can and the best I can, you know. And I get to go to countries like Kuwait that I went
mm-hmm.
recently, where dance was not accepted until a couple of years ago. And in Kuwait, they
What?
really okay. Kuwait is a very special
All
place.
right.
I need to talk about it because it's
Please,
really
yeah,
special.
please do.
So the dance wasn't accepted there until recently, and they only have one place where they can dance there
Mm-hmm,
in Kuwait. It's this school, and there is handful of dancers. I only had like 18 people in my class.
mm-hmm.
There is not a lot of dancers, and yeah, normal people still look at dance. They're like, oh, like either we are afraid of it,
Right,
or like we
right,
don't know what is it, or
right,
like,
right.
you know, if dancers dance there on the street, most likely somebody's gonna call the police on you, you know,
Oh
and they will
wow.
like send you home, you
Right,
know.
right.
But like I was really surprised by Kuwait, because first of all, everybody speaks English there, which
Mm-hmm.
is amazing. It's really helpful for me when I can speak to them, you
Right,
know.
right.
And they are so hungry. I mean, the students out there, they really want to learn, and they really, even now, they still keep in touch with me, and they
Right.
still want more knowledge, and they're trying to come out to America. And there is this one a guy. He's a krumper, and he's the only krumper in Kuwait in the past 7 years, and he's been doing this dance by himself for the past 7 years, and he just watches all the Crumb DVDs and all the YouTube videos to really learn. And what's crazy, he is really good, and because like all the Crumb terminology is not on YouTube, so sometimes he was doing the foundation, but he didn't know the name for it, you know. So yeah, when I came out there, I spent like 4 hours with him just to give him like everything, so he knows everything, right? And he got better so fast because he's been training for so long, and he's been wanting to like know everything for so long. He picked up so fast, and what's crazy about it too, he's never been in Crumb session or a Crumb battle before. And
because if he's the only krumper out there, then I mean he hasn't even he didn't get a chance to experience that energy, right? Like it's like
and so I was like, okay, so I kind of created the session vibe after the class for him. So we really session. I taught him like how to hype up. And it was a crazy experience for him. And then after, I called him out for a battle. So I battled him for the first time. Like he was like, you know,
absolutely.
like his mind was like blowing. Like it was really even amazing experience for me, because I'm like, okay, I know that like I can have like such a great impact on somebody, and like it was just really amazing to see. The energy was amazing, you know. So yeah, like there is a lot of responsibilities on the teachers, you know. So we really need to train and always be a student, you know, to be able to teach. You know?
Now, what is it? What is like an you know, if you could talk about for a second, what would be an ideal student for you? Like, so like you just covered what the responsibilities of a teacher are, but like, what's your ideal student? Of course, they have to be hungry, right? But like, what else does like a student, like a perfect student for you? You know what I mean? Or at least perfect effort. I'm sorry, not
perfect
like
effort.
perfect. Yeah.
Perfect effort. Let's see. Well, I have a couple of them, and it's really interesting to see how they approach it, you know. And it's also really interesting to see how you either have the hard work or you have the talent, you know.
Right.
So I have students that really have the hard work, and yes, they're talented, but they don't have like the natural, okay, you got it talent. You know, they really have to work hard, practice every day, you know, to get where they want to be, you know. And I can see like that they you know, like they are really hungry. They spend hours of practice to like get that one amazing round or that one amazing choreography. And then I have the students that have the natural amazing talent. They just like get it like this, you know. And they don't have as much of the hard work, you know. And if I'm not around, they will be just like, oh, chilling, you know? And I'm like, no.
Absolutely.
And I'm really those people with the talent, I really need to push them. I really need to be like, okay, you need to practice every day. Okay, you need to send me videos, like so I can see that you're practicing, that you're progressing and stuff, you know. So yeah, I can totally see that. And like I don't want to compare them, but I always put them in a competition, because I'm like, hey, if you don't practice, your talent might not be, you know, worthy, or like, you know, or like the person with the hard work. I'm like, okay, you really need to work hard, you know.
Right,
so
exactly.
It's always
that's dope. Like I said earlier, though, it's just like especially I think now in a culture that that has such instant gratification, right? Like you know what I mean? You can immediately have somebody tell you how dope you are immediately, right? You can throw something on you know, Instagram or YouTube or blah. You can get, you know, however many people being like, yo, dope, like fire emoji. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like easily, but it takes the real ones to be like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
But you know, like to actually give you the real, like, you know, you work really hard, like, but you have to work hard because like that. And so which one were you? Was young Yaya? Were you the more of like you were hungry, hardworking, or did you think that or did you feel that you had a natural talent Or
Yeah, I think I was the hardworking
the
one for
hardworking
sure.
one? Yeah.
I don't think I have a natural talent, and yeah, I really don't think so. And the reason why I'm saying that is because when I started dancing, my cousin was dancing with me as well.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, our teacher was always telling us, like, yeah, your cousin has natural talent and you have the hard work. And I was like, okay, I take the challenge. Okay. So yeah, like I made sure that I was the most sweaty one in practice. Like
Yeah.
I made sure I was the first one. I made sure I was leaving the practice last. And I
Yeah.
made sure I was practicing before the practice. Okay.
Right. Absolutely.
And yeah, I was making sure like all my routines are on point always. And yeah, I really believe so that I was the hardworking one. And I mean, training and practicing is one of my favorite things, and I really like have a good self-discipline as well.
Right.
And yeah, it was always like I love challenge, so it was always like a motivation challenge for me to like prove myself or show off myself, you know.
And that makes so much sense now hearing you say, because I mean, like I said, from an outsider looking in, I see all those things without knowing like all of the backstory to connect the pieces, because you've already said you trained with Henry Link, which is like the top, right? But then also going into like other styles, you've trained with tie-dyes, right? And crump, like you trained with the EBs, like the electric boogaloos and popping, right? Like so your training has you've gotten like a lot of top tier training. So I think it's something to be said too for everybody listening or watching, is that even if you are in the hardworking bracket and not necessarily in the most talented bracket, with enough practice of that hard work, you then give off the vibes of that natural talent, and you have the hard work to back it. Because like for me, hearing that now, I'm like, oh, you weren't in the talented bracket, because I've only known you since you've come out here. And since you've put all that work in already, I'm like, oh, she got it. Like, you know what I mean? There hasn't been a time where I've been like, yo, that looks mad awkward, yo. Like, that's not you. You know what I mean? And it's just, and over the years, I've seen you develop your strength in the crump, but before I even know that you did it. Do you know what I'm saying? And to reach the heights that you are now. So, like, could you talk about the importance of versatility? You know what I mean? Like, what compelled you to kind of learn all these different styles and not only learn them, but work towards mastery and perfection?
I think, versatility and learning different styles is very important, because, learning one style helps you in another, and learning that style helps you in another, you know, and I see it while, learning the popping and the foundation helps me in crump, you know, and crump helps me in popping, you know, hip hop helps me in crump, you know, and I feel like, versatility, it's very, very important, because it opens your mind and really like, maybe gets you the natural groove that might seem like it's the natural talent, but it's really not.
Right.
But yeah, the reason why I studied a lot of styles and being versatile is because in the Czech Republic, or in Europe, now it might be changed a little bit, but in the Czech Republic, if you have an all-style battle and they play a locking song for you, you have to do locking. Or if they play house song, you have to do house.
Got it.
So on each style, you have to do that certain style. So that's the reason why I started to study all the styles, because I wanted to win the battles.
Right, of course, yeah.
And so then when I came to America and I heard all style, it's like, oh, you just do whatever you want, and I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Right, yeah.
That's not how it is in my country. I know they have a couple of those in my country now too by now, you know. But yeah, I'm really glad that I got that type of training because it really opened my mind to different styles, and just grew me into the dancer that I am today. So the European flavor.
I got you. And so who do you keep through all this training? Who do you keep around you, or who can you count on in all of your training and all that to to keep it to be honest with you,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because like I said, you've traveled all over. You're at a new level of notoriety right now, where you're going to have more people telling you that you're dope than there are going to be people to be like, yeah, that was cool, but you know what I mean. So with that, how have you been keeping the balance? You know what I mean? In all of these travels and making sure that you're still humble and you're like, you haven't reached the level of like, yeah, I'm like God level right now. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Well, who'd I definitely like? First, I really love critique. So yeah, if somebody tells me, "Oh, it was good," I'm like, "No, I want the best. Like, I want the best. What did I do wrong? What did I do?
Yeah.
You know, like give me the critique. You know." And yeah, who can I really count on is definitely my crew. Of course, IAMMe. You know, I know that they will be always honest. Definitely, my teachers. Tie-dyes, Beast, Baby Tie-dyes, B-Dash. I got lost right now.
No, that's all good. No, I mean I get it though. It's like I just think it's really, really important, and I love to hear that too, because I think now more than ever it's a really good time to hear how important that is.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like,
how do I keep myself humbled and how do I keep going is I actually still like take private trainings from people. And recently I did this program, it's called SLX that Tie-dyes is doing. And it's 3 days, 9 hours of straight crumb training with Tie-dyes 101. And not only that, the first day he teaches you, everything from the foundations until the end. And the second day he teaches you about sessions and battles, and he might even like break down your footage with you. And he might have you session with other people and tell you pretty much how to session. The third day, he has like the best of the best people come and everybody battles you. Right.
Oh
so
gosh.
I had like 10 of the best crumpers battling me. We went like 30 rounds. I was dying.
I'm sorry, you went how many rounds?
Like 30 rounds. Yeah.
30 rounds.
Yeah. So every time somebody dances, I have to dance after them. Then somebody else dances, I have to dance after them. So everyone is fresh besides me. Okay?
Yeah, because you're also on the third day, right?
Yeah, I'm on the third day. And then like, Tie-dyes battles me 3 rounds, Baby Tie-dyes battles me 3 rounds, and I'm just like, I'm dying by the time. And then Tie-dyes like, oh, you're just lazy. I'm like, okay. So yeah, that was incredible training. After the training, I felt like I can do anything.
Right.
And yeah, I take so many trainings, especially from Baby Tie-dyes Beast. He's one of my biggest teachers lately. He's been teaching me so much one-on-one trainings. Of course, Bap and Andre, training with him. Like I used to train with him. I would love to train with him again. I even like would love to train, take one-on-one classes still from Mad Chat, like Boogie Frantic and even Popping John, like all those people. Like I'm willing to go out there and like still take private trainings and just see, okay, what do they have to say? Like, what else can I learn? Like, I know everybody's teaching differently, so there's always something new to learn, I would love to go out there to Japan and just spend like a month out there and like get their flavor, because there is something in the air in Japan that makes them insane 100%. Out there. You're like, I mean, they are incredible dancers.
I think the hunger for the culture, man, is just second to none. Like, and then let me ask you this: like, with that being said, what do you think it is about? What do you think it is about Americans versus other countries' take on training as far as hip hop culture goes? Sorry, I said that question horribly.
No.
But do you know what I'm saying? Like it's I feel like, just like you said, like there is something in the air, not only in Japan but also in certain parts of Europe, and like where they're just like, the fire for hip hop that they have, like, or street dance code, the fire that they have for it is something that you can only find in pockets here of the country, right? Like in some places in LA, and then like of course New York has that, and then like some places in Chicago, and boom. But it seems like there's like so many overseas that were just like, you know, in a culture I think that was born here, right? What do you think that is?
I have thought about this a lot because it is very true, and I think there is 2 points that I can point out. So first thing is, yes, the culture was created here in America, and I feel like sometimes, I don't mean to sound harsh, but yes, American people or dancers are taking it for advantage sometimes that they have this right around the corner, you know?
Right.
And it is natural, it is normal, because if something is far away from you, yes, you are more hungry for it, you want it more, you want to learn more, you are researching more. If something is right around the corner, you're like, oh, maybe next time, or oh, maybe I will learn it later, you know? So yeah, that's very natural, you know? And I think second point is because in America, there is, you know, all the movies, all the commercials, or the singers, all the artists, all the work. And in America, you can really make a lot of money with dance.
Right.
And the way you make the money and you make the career, or you work as a dancer, is you get into the industry. You know, you teach and stuff like that too, but you get into the industry and you go commercial, and you can still be underground. I'm still underground, and I go commercial as well.
Right.
But in Europe and in Asia, there is no such thing like such a huge industry like in America.
Oh, okay, got it.
And yes, there are some singers. Yes, there is some work, but it's very little, And the way you really make a career out of dance in Europe or in Asia is that you get really good in your craft and you win battles if you are a freestyler, or if you are a choreographer, you have a crew and you win the main competitions out there.
Okay,
right?
Okay.
That way, then you get to teach and travel, So in Asia, in Europe, it's more about, okay, you want to get up there to be able to teach and travel.
Got it.
In America, it's more about you want to get into the industry.
Exactly, I got it.
And unfortunately, in America, you don't necessarily need to be the best in your craft to get into the industry.
Right.
In Europe and Asia, you need to be the best in your craft to be able to travel and teach.
Right. Okay. So it's a bit.
So I think, that is the biggest difference between America and the other countries, because the industry is so big, and the whole world looks up to the singers, like the all the music, everything is here,
Of course.
Yeah, so I feel like, yes, for American people or dancers, please don't take the advantage of oh, it's right here. Like, really go, really learn, really, be the best in your craft.
Absolutely, yeah. Which I mean, I think is especially given the times that we're in right now. Like I was saying earlier about social media, instant gratification. Now, sorry, I say social media because I'm like I feel like on the brink of becoming an old head. So that's the first thing I say is social media, but not just that, but just like in the culture of instant gratification.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like fire emoji. You know what I mean? Like it's just like, and I'm not knocking people that appreciate dance. I appreciate dance. So I'll get on. I'll leave comments like, "Yo, let's go." Like not like, "Oh, that's the best," but it's just like encouragement. So with that, I do get that, and it's a hard space. But I think about that often because it seems more and more the more that I look at the dancers, in France and in Japan, they're starting to catch up on what I thought, years ago is like, oh, okay, well, I see where they are lacking in this and that, because the grooves are starting to become more natural, especially I think in Japan, you know what I mean, where it's like their fundamentals were so on point, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes, and sorry, any Asian country, anything like that. Sometimes I felt like they lacked in groove and like creative, like the feeling. Yes, absolutely. But now they're starting to they're really starting to catch up with that. So for me, I'm like, man, I just hope we move into a space here in the States where we can find like a newfound appreciation for not just the fundamentals of fundamentals, but like making sure that we have that, so then we can continue to innovate rather than just like just do whatever. Do you know what I mean? And just call it that. But anyway, but I feel you. And then with that, so can we talk about IAMMe for a second? Because let's talk about how you actually got here, and still you're standing crew, right? So yeah, talk about IAMMe for how did you even get linked up with IAMMe?
Okay, long story short.
Yeah.
So I met Philip Pacman the first time in the Czech Republic in 2010.
Okay.
Yeah. In 2010, I met him at a dance camp. It's called Street Dance Camp. And I took his class there, which was extremely hard. It was the hardest class that I ever took in my life. Yeah. My whole body was hurting. I was like, I can never take his class again. Okay. I really never took his class again. Yeah. No, it's choreography. It's super hard. So hard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he saw me there battle. I was battling in the hip hop category. He really enjoyed my style. Later, 1 month later, I taught at a dance camp called Hip Hop Meeting, also in the Czech Republic, and he was teaching there as well. And at this camp, he saw me showcase my own choreography, and he saw me teaching. And he was like, oh, she's doing like a lot of stuff, and it's really cool. And then I came up to him and I was like, hey, I'm going to Los Angeles this summer. Like, are you teaching classes there? Stuff like that. I would love to take your class. And he was like, no, but maybe we'll be able to catch up or like meet and stuff like that. I was like, cool. So I went to Los Angeles 2 months later for training. And I was there for 5 weeks. The whole 5 weeks, I wasn't in contact with him, nothing. Then my dance teacher from the Czech Republic, he came. Also train, and he met up with Pac-Man, and then he came back and he was like, hey, Pac-Man, he wants to meet up with you, and he wants to do some project with you. I was like, cool, but I didn't have a phone at that time, so he told me that Pac-Man is going to call me on the phone in the hotel.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, I didn't need a phone. I was just dancing all day, every day. I didn't need a phone, So I was there in LA with my friend, and we took turns sitting by the phone. So when I would be sitting by the phone, she would be taking classes, and then she would sit by the phone and I would go take classes, and we would be waiting there for the phone call, because I was like, I cannot miss this opportunity to work with Philip,
Yeah.
So it was 4 days. It was it's too funny. Yeah, I don't think he even knows this. I don't think I ever told him this. Okay. Yeah. So 4 days before we were supposed to leave, he still didn't call, and I was like, okay, maybe he forgot. We were sitting by the phone for like a week by this time.
Wow.
So 4 days before I leave, he finally called. I was like, I picked it up like I wasn't sitting by the phone for a week, I was like, hey, what's up, blah, blah. So he said that he wants to do a video with me. I was like, cool, So we made a choreography in 2 days, and then the very last day, we were shooting. We were shooting until 6 a.m. It was dope. Everything was perfect. And we were shooting until 6 a.m. And at 10 p.m., my flight was leaving from Los Angeles. He after the video shoot, he dropped me off back in the hotel, and we were like, yeah, bye, nice to meet you, nice to work with you, blah. We went apart, and I took a little nap, I packed, and me and my friend, we were like, oh, we still have a couple hours, so we are gonna go walk around LA, so we decided to go to the Beverly Hills Mall.
Okay, yeah.
The Beverly Center. And it was like 40 minutes away. It was far away, no way that, something could happen. And we are walking around the mall, and by accident I see Philip and Moon doing some pickup shots for the video, and I'm like, what are you guys doing
That's so
here?
tight.
And
Yeah.
they're like, oh yeah, we are just doing some pickup shots for the video. I was like, okay, this is extremely random, you know.
All right.
And Philip is like, yeah, by the way, I forgot to ask you if you want to be a part of IAMMe and go on America's Best Dance crew. I was like, oh, you forgot to ask me. And and he was like, yeah, to be honest, later he told me, if I didn't meet you at the mall, I would never ask you to be a part of the crew.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, that is insane. Yeah.
Wow.
So I was like, immediately I was like, yes, you know, let me go back to my country, figure out a visa and come back.
Right.
So I went back to my country for 2 months. I didn't get a visa, but I went to America without visa. And so I went to Houston. We started to practice for ABDC. We were practicing for 3 months. We auditioned, we got on the show, and then the show, 1 week before the show started, the show was like, oh, we cannot get visa for Yaya. And I was ready to pack and be like, okay, I'm gonna go home, watch you guys on TV, you know, it's all good, you know.
Yeah.
Actually, Ai Hasegawa was supposed to replace me. She knows as well. So I already had a replacement, everything. And then last minute, Philip was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna tell them that IAMMe is not gonna enter ABDC without you. I was like, okay,
all right.
Yeah, try, you know. Yeah, so he did it, and they immediately got me visa.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, just like that, you know.
That's what's up. Get him, Philip. Let's go. Wow.
Yeah, so he really had my back. The crew really had my back. You know, everybody agree with it. Like, yeah, let's do that. You know, so yeah, they got me artist visa for the show, and yeah, that's how I was able to get my work visas. That's how I was able to get my green card later. Also because of you.
Hey,
shout out to Twitch. It's one of the reasons why I got a green card here. Yeah. So yeah, that's how I became part of IAMMe.
It's man, that's crazy because it's like, I mean, that was a huge part of. I mean, that was the part of you actually relocating here, like uprooting what you had there to move here, and then everything that kind of continued to unfold since then. So you get on so you've gotten your artist visa, and now you're on ABDC, nationally televised show, and you guys go on to win.
I did not expect that.
Yeah, and then also, so this was your first television show, right?
I did television shows in the Czech Republic, but this was my first international television show.
Got it. Yeah. Okay. Now, how were you ready? Were you, the TV experience that you had in the Czech Republic, did that prepare you for what ABDC was for you guys?
I think I would be ready if I spoke English, but I didn't speak English at the time at all. Yeah, so I came it was actually very hard. Yeah, I came. I was learning English while we were in the process.
Right.
And I mean, I say yes, we were really ready with IAMMe for ABDC because we were literally practicing for 3 months every day for like 12 hours. Yeah. It was torturing. It was a torture. I loved it. I loved it so much, though.
Right.
And we literally, like, all the sets that you guys see in our performances, we made up everything and we recorded everything. We put everything in folders like connecting sets, blow-ups, flips.
Wow.
We put everything in folders, and then when we got the music on ABDC, we were just like, oh, so this is gonna go here, this here, this here, this here. So we had the performance ready in the first 1 hour. We mentally had the performance ready, and then we were just like filling it up with transitions and steps.
Yeah.
So that's really how we went through the whole ABDC process, because once you're on the show, you don't really have time to think of like new creative stuff.
Right.
Yeah, so we literally had like a book like, okay, this is going right here, this is going right here. So we were really, really ready. Yeah.
That's awesome, man, because that makes so much sense, because you think about who is a part of that team, who's a part of that crew. It's just a bunch of masterminds, really. You know what I mean? Not only movers, but like a bunch of like people is just like, oh, you need a concept for what? Got
Yeah.
you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you
Yeah.
know, wait, who could you name off everybody that was in IAMMe at that time?
So Philip,
Yeah.
Spieb,
Yeah.
Moon, and Brandon, they were the
Mm-hmm.
creators of IAMMe.
Mm-hmm.
And then Emilio Dosal, myself, and Chachi Gonzalez.
Wow. Yep. Hitters.
Yeah.
Hitters. That's awesome. Why was it called IAMMe?
Who came up with it? Who came up with it first? I think everything that we do was always like, we always sat down together and we always like brain bang together, right? Okay. The name brain bang is from Brandon.
Okay.
Yeah, that is from Brandon.
Brain
there was
bang.
there was all there was all kinds of words that like we had before. I don't want to mention them. It's not appropriate. So yeah, and then with the word IAMMe, we're like, okay, we want to have something that is unique, that represents us, that represents like our own, like ourselves, you know. And also IAMME stands for Inspire, Motivate, Energize. The IAMME. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's how we came up with it, because really everybody on the team had some kind of superpower, and everybody on the team was unique in some kind of way.
Absolutely.
You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really where the name came from. Yeah.
That's dope. Wow. And you know, I think it's just like, man, it was so perfect. And maybe it was perfect for us to watch, but I'm sure very frustrating for other teams that were involved because it's just like,
it was crazy because we were the first team to dance on that season. We had the very first performance, and I looked at the flags. There was like the flags hanging.
Yeah.
I looked at the flags and I was like, "We are gonna be the last team hanging too.
Absolutely.
The last team perform. You're first
dope.
and the last.
You
Let's
called
go."
it, yeah, man. I'm thinking with like you guys and like for instance like Quest Crew. You know what I mean? These were like crews that are like not just like super dope in talent, but also like in mind, like being able to put something together for not just to be dope, but also dope visually for cameras, right? Whole different ball game than just like battles or like commandos for battles. You know what I mean? Or just like a showcase. Like, nah, you had to figure out like camera choreography, and then also like while remaining true and keeping the integrity of the crew, so you don't have to like water everything down. But it is on MTV, so you might have had to dance to a pop song. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's just there's so many things at play that I don't think that you know, the general audience really takes into account when they're watching like these masterpiece performances. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So then let's fast forward to another TV show that you have done, which was So You Think You Can Dance, which was like a whole different experience for you as a solo artist in itself. And that I was privileged to watch from the jump. How was that experience for you? And So You Think? And I'm talking about in an overall perspective. So the first season that you auditioned didn't make it, and then going on to the street versus stage. And how was that? Like,
it was whole different experience than ABDC, of course, because I was there solo, and not only that, I was doing choreography of someone else.
Right.
I was going into the TV show like, okay, this is gonna be a good experience. Let's have fun. Let's really make good memories. And it was a very interesting experience for me, especially because I got to meet so many different people, so many different choreographers that I'm still, you know, have the pleasure to work with them still right now. And the styles, man. I mean, I am not trained, okay? I'm not trained in like getting jazz or contemporary or Bollywood and Broadway. I have to say, I got extremely hype on it because I was like, I love challenge. Let's do it. We are gonna do this. And for me, it was more like an acting. Okay?
Right, absolutely.
So yeah, anytime like I got a different style, I was like, okay, I really want to study the character. What is my intention? And it was more for me about the act, about, you know, the facials, about the character than the dance, you know. And that's what I feel like got me so far because I really don't have the techniques, you know. When I was doing jazz with Haley, I ended up in hospital after that performance. My knees were busted. It was crazy. It was one of the hardest routines ever that I danced in my life. And I remember when we did the dry block, and Jeff, the producer, he was like, "Yeah, you gotta go harder." And I was like, "Dang, okay." Yeah. And then he was like, "Okay, try to dance it as jazz, but as crump jazz. Put some crump into the jazz. Like, dance it with the energy that you have in crump." And I was like, okay, makes sense, you know?
Right.
So, I did that. And, I mean, yes, I almost died first. But it did give completely different, you know, energy into the dance. And I am really glad that he said it. He did that. He was a really huge help on the show. Because, that's how I was able to survive. You
Absolutely,
know, the whole season,
100%. And it's great because it's just like it seems like you know, without even knowing that there was going to be a show like So You Think You Can Dance or even ABDC, it's just like you have to, you know, or at least for me hearing this, I'm like, man, that's crazy. Like without you even knowing what was coming up in the future, it's like the way that you came up in dance and artistry, it almost groomed you and got you ready for these things that you didn't even know were coming, right? You know what I mean? Like being part of like before ABDC, just IAMMe, period. Do you know what I mean? It's just like those 4 days of waiting for a phone call, and it's just like, and that was just really for the video. It's just like, and if I happen to go to the mall, it's just like, oh yeah, I can be in the crew, but I'm also prepared for that too. That's fine. Do you know what I mean? And the same with So You Think You Can Dance, like having the mindset of like being the hardworking one, even if it's like my natural talent doesn't fall in here, I'm gonna work really hard. Do you know what I mean? And you were one of the hardest working ones on the team. Do you know what I mean? Because we had a spectrum, right? You know what I mean? We had some that were incredibly talented, but like had to push to get had to push to work hard. Do you know what I mean? Shout out Aesop. Like had to push to work really hard. But then you had those that like worked incredibly hard, realized what their strengths and their gifts were, and here you are now. That's dope, man.
I really believe that everything happens for a reason. I never have any regrets because every bad thing, every failure, you know, it happens because of something is coming. Something else is coming, you know. So I never have regrets. Like everything just is in a place.
Yeah, I feel you. And do you have a favorite failure that you can think about? I took this and for everybody listening / watching, there's a dude named Tim Ferriss who has a podcast as well, and I kind of got this question from him, like, do you have any favorite failures, like failures that have kind of like at the time maybe were a little devastating, but looking back on it, like, well, I'm kind of glad that didn't work out, because if that would have worked out, then that wouldn't have allowed the room for this to happen. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
actually, yes, I do have a favorite failure, and I think that was my first audition for So You Think, because at that time, it was the classic So You Think when you don't have the street versus stage.
Right.
And everybody kind of expected me to get on the season, you know, and I went all the way to the Green Mile, and then they were like, no. I was like, oh. So for me at that moment, I was like, oh, it's okay, you know. I was walking out the stage. I was a little sad, you know. I was like, oh, it's okay. But then the cameras are on me, you know, and Emilio is there like crying. And at that moment when I saw Emilio, I was like, oh my God, please, this is horrible.
Right.
But yeah, that was, going through that whole Vegas week, where you pretty much don't sleep, okay, and you are just emotional from not you know what's happening, but because you just didn't
so
sleep
tired.
for a week, you know.
Exactly.
So and people were telling me like, oh, I'm so sad that you didn't get on the show, blah blah blah. But it actually worked out in my favor, because the next season they did the street versus stage, and I was like, okay, this is it. This is for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
this, I'm coming. You know, I'm
100%.
coming.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I feel like it happened for a reason because I was meant to be on the street versus stage. I'm really happy that it worked out that way. I'm really happy that I failed. You know, that I didn't
Yeah,
make
of
it on the
course.
season before. Because that was just meant to be.
You know what's crazy? Hearing that, you and I actually share it's kind of the exact same story. It's like that's my favorite failure too, is not making season 3. Because I also just went and was just kind of like, oh, this would be cool. Like, you know, like, oh, cool. Yeah. Like, oh, they got auditions for that coming up. Great. Yeah, I'll go. Like, you know, and then I went through Vegas week. And it was like, oh man, this is okay, got it. Like this is major. Okay, got it. Like, you know what I mean? And went right down to the Green Mile for the last spot in the guys, and they actually chose Hawk.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
It was between me and Hawk, and they chose Hawk. So I was like, I couldn't be mad. Couldn't be mad because I was like, that's dope for him. Great. And then walking out, it was like, it kind of gave me another purpose. It was like, oh, okay, so like, if I come back next year, this is major. Like, this is not just something that's just like, all right, cool. You know what I mean? And I went back the next year, went to a runner-up spot. Like, we kind of shared like the exact same So You Think story. Do you know what I mean? Which is really, really dope. That's great. And also looking back on it now too, I think something that I picked up and learned from you as I was doing the street versus stage So You Think is that I think like just relentless positivity can only go so far in a competition show. Do you know what I mean? Like that was something that I was hoping we could do the street versus stage one more time, because I was like, okay, got it. Because me, I'm like, dog, nah. Everything's fine. Like, what'd you think about it? Everything's fine. Don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, what notes do you have? Okay, do this. But yo, it's tight though. We're good. You know what I mean? Because that's just kind of the way that I operate, where I'm like, yeah, we can work on this and that, but like, everything's tight. Don't worry about it. Like, you know what I mean? And now sitting here listening to kind of what you've said, I look back on that experience and I was like, oh, like, so she was actually looking for me to be like, nah, that wasn't that good at all. Do you know what I mean? Like, that wasn't that good. And I never gave her that, y'all.
Oh, no.
Ever. I was
too nice.
There was never a time where I was like, yeah, that looked bad. Don't do nothing like that. I was like, yo, it's tight. We're in the building. We're good. You know what I mean? Like, everything is fine. So let that be a lesson to anybody that's, listening, watching, that while being, incredibly positive, I think you have to be brave enough to give the realness as well. And this is something that I'm learning in my latter life. Do you know what I mean? It's just that realness has as much as an impact as positivity does as well.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I feel like we need to learn how to take the critique.
Absolutely.
Because that's just gonna make us better. And we like, even with my students, like sometimes I'm harsh or mean and they're like, you're mean, or
right.
I'm like, but this is what's gonna help you.
Absolutely.
Me giving you compliments is not gonna make you better.
Of course.
So yeah, when it's time to give you compliment,
then I'll give it.
Time is gonna
right. Which is great. That leads me into my next question. What would you say to this is actually a 2-part question. Okay. So what would you say, you, Yaya, now to Yaya pre Henry Link workshop? Like back in the day, the one that was just like, that was doing the dance/fitness routines over and over again. Was there anything at that point in time that you were you were worried about, or advice that you wanted to hear? Something that you wanted to hear that you would tell yourself with everything that you've learned now, you would go back and be like, yo, do this, and this, or like, don't worry about that. You know what I mean? And me, while you're thinking about it, when I first started dancing, I would have went back and told myself to stop, like to concern myself with my own training, not necessarily what everybody else was thinking around me. Do you know what I mean? Like concern yourself with your own. Like for me, it was just like worry about you, like. Don't worry about everybody else. Like worry about what you're doing. Worry about your training, and then go from there. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like I know that's something that I would have benefited from if I could go back and tell myself something now. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, that's an interesting question. I would say that back in the day when I was 10, 11, 12 years old, my very first teacher was really pushing me over everyone. And she was the type of teacher that would be like, oh, you are the best. I wish I had more Yayas on the team. Like, she, at the time already, she let me teach everyone. And everyone there was older than me, even like 5, 6 years older sometimes, you know. And I, at that time, I was really cocky. I'm gonna say like straight up, I was really cocky person. Like I was like the mean cocky kid, you know. Nobody liked me at that time, you know. And I feel like this is advice for the teachers. Really be not hard on your students, but don't give them, if the students are amazing, which there's, you know, kids nowadays are really amazing, give them the critique and don't push them so hard if it's not necessary, because for kids it's really hard to process that, you know. And at that time, like when I look back at it, it was hard for me to process, you know, all the good stuff, and like all I was told was that I'm good and I'm the best and I'm great, you know. So it's like, oh, I'm really killing it, you know.
Right.
But then my second teacher came and he was like, no, you're standing in the back. Okay, he put me in the back of the formation of the dance routine. For the first time ever, I was in the back and I was like, damn.
Right.
Okay, you know, like I really, no matter what, like even if I'm in the back, I'm still gonna go harder than everyone else, you know. So yeah, my second teacher, he was really hard on me, and he wasn't, you know, giving me great feedback. He was giving me a lot of critiques, and yeah, that's what put me back on the planet Earth, you know, because before I was flying somewhere, you know. Yeah, so I'm really glad that he came along, because I was able to, you know, realize like, okay, you know, I'm not better than anyone else. Like we are all, you know, we are all equal. So yeah, that would be like the feedback for myself back in the day. Like pretty much like don't put yourself above somebody else, you know. But yeah, when you are a kid and all you hear is you are amazing, it's really hard, you know. And I feel like what happens to a lot of kids nowadays, that they do get really amazing and then they disappear. Because a lot of times they are not able to take in all the good feedback, you know, and they're like, okay, what am I supposed to do? And they either stop dancing or they go into something else, you know, or, you know, it gets too much in their head and it's done.
And why do you think that is? Why do you think that we have a culture that is so that gives so much praise as opposed to critiques? Why do you think that is, like from your perspective?
I would say it goes back to the social media, you know. I feel like everyone, you know, everyone, it's nice people get the good feedback, but I don't know. It's like maybe part of networking, you know. You know, part of, oh, I want to be a friend with you, so I will give you good feedback. Or part of, oh, I you know, I feel like people really nowadays are afraid to give the critique, you know, because maybe people take it harder, you know, nowadays. And yeah, on social media, it's so easy to write a fire emoji,
Of
you know,
course,
like,
yeah.
yeah, and if you
Yeah,
do that every day, you know, uh, and it is on the other side, yes, it is nice to get the support, you
of
know,
course.
but yes, I feel like we are losing the ability to take the
To
critique in, you know,
critiques,
and
yeah.
I have experience myself with it where I gave out critique to people and they completely blocked me out of their life, and I'm like, dang, you know,
Right,
like,
right.
okay, I was just, you know, not being mean or harsh, like nicely giving you a feedback, which is critique, you know.
Absolutely.
But yeah, people like stop being friends or they cut you out of their life. They're block you on social
Yeah, yeah,
media, you
of
know. And
course. Yeah,
I feel
sure.
like, yeah, people are afraid of it
Sure.
nowadays. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this sadly it'll be the if there is a downside to as much positivity as being pumped out, you know, like I said, I've had to kind of reprogram myself and be like, right, I see how if you're overly like, yeah, that's great, that's
Mm-hmm.
great, that's
Mm-hmm.
great, that's great, that's great, that's great,
Mm-hmm.
and you're never and there's never a time where I'm like, that was great, but you
Mm-hmm.
know, work on these things and this and this, that, and the
Mm-hmm.
third, then you do kind of build up a place to where when a critique finally comes, it's looked at as hate.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's looked at
Mm-hmm.
as like,
Yeah.
oh man,
Mm-hmm.
this person not feeling me. So then, from an egotistical standpoint, you start to defend yourself and then
Mm-hmm.
start to break down. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
well, why would Yaya say something like that to
Mm-hmm.
me? Like, let's see, let me go to her page and see what she's doing. Like, oh, it must be because, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it kind of
Mm-hmm.
turns into this thing where we can't have, you know, conversations about art anymore,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I mean,
Yeah.
it's we
Mm-hmm.
can't have opinions if it's not the fire emoji. Do you
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or like the
Mm-hmm.
praise hands or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, right? So it's just like I get that, and I see that it's kind of headed into a place where like it's nothing but praise,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, and you are right. Yeah, maybe critique nowadays is looked at as hate
Mm-hmm.
only,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, the truth is sometimes or a lot of times it's not even hate, you know. It's
Right.
just like, okay, giving you a feedback that will make you better in the
Yeah.
future, you
Exactly.
know.
Exactly.
So we need to stop thinking that there is all haters hating on us
Right.
all the time, you know.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, we need to really learn how to take in the critique. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think the thing is too, it's just like more than anything, you'll get like, especially now, you get so much love that it's almost like, okay, that's cool, great. But if you get something other than that, to me, um, I think I'd try to work really hard to remove myself from the situation and actually look at what was said, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like for those that have reached out and been like, yo, that was not great quality
Mm-hmm.
work, bro. Or like, yo, work on this, that, and the third.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do my best to be like, okay, remove myself from the
Mm-hmm.
ego standpoint, remove myself from the situation and be like, okay, what are they saying? Like, okay, there's like this needs to be cleaner. Like, we'll look at it and be like, oh yeah, that's true. That does need to be clean. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There has to be some kind of like,
Mm-hmm.
you can't just write it off as hate and just be done with it.
Mm-hmm.
I think there are people that are genuinely concerned about the well-being of the art form,
Mm-hmm.
making sure that people are leveling up. I'm sorry, people, individuals, and us as a culture,
Mm-hmm.
we continue leveling up and not watering down for view count,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
So yeah, that's and then so the second part of my question is
Mm-hmm.
now, what would you tell somebody that was in your in your position right before you moved here for ABDC, like somebody that is about to move to LA now,
Mm-hmm.
you know, from whether it be small country, other country,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. What would be some advice that you give to somebody that is about to move to LA fresh, fresh out here?
Yeah, I would definitely say first, like, don't be afraid, you know, like have no fear and like really everything, even if it seems like impossible task or impossible goal, which for me, like, yeah, I am from really small town, not knowing like what hip hop even is, you know, and I still was able to make this transition, you know. So really don't be afraid to dream big, you know. And a lot of times people tell me like it's about money. The truth is, I really came with $500 in my pocket. I didn't have more than that. I didn't have save up more than that. My family is not rich, so yes, it is possible even without the money. It is possible to take care of yourself, and then really I would say follow your heart. Don't care about what other opinions you come along with. I even I didn't even tell my dad at first that I'm moving to America, because I know he would be extremely against it, because I actually disconnected my high school because of that. I didn't finish. Yeah, I was about to graduate from my high school in 4 months, and I couldn't because of ABDC. So I actually finished my school in America because of my dad. But yeah, if it can be really hard if parents are not my dad is supportive, but if parents are at first not as supportive because they are just afraid, and I was really young. I was 18 when I was moving to America, so I would say if you really want it, you will know that you want it, and you will do it. If you have so many fears and like so many not insecurities, but you I don't know this, I don't know that, maybe that's not the way you should go. Maybe there is some other specialty that is waiting for you in the future, and you will know when the time has come. I feel like also like nowadays everyone not everyone, but some people are trying to fast forward things, and really I feel like there is a time to shine for everyone, and the time to shine for everyone is different. And somebody goes faster, somebody goes slower, and that's okay. Like go in your own pace. Don't compare yourself to others. You are your own unique person, and everything is gonna work out for you the way it's supposed to. I feel like I really think the universe and you work together, and everything happens exactly at the right time that it's supposed to.
Sure. Now, are there times that you have struggled with that here in the recent? Have you kind of struggled with whether it be comparison to where one person's place is to another? Have you found any struggles with that, or have you been pretty good mentally, just kind of knowing that you're moving in your own space, in your own time? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I have to say I'm pretty good at moving in my own space, my own time, and like moving on my own pace. But I have to be really honest. Yeah, if I scroll down through social media, I will be really honest. Okay, if I scroll down through social media and I see, oh, this person is doing this person is doing that, I'm like, dang, am I doing enough?
Yeah.
Like, am I traveling enough?
Yeah.
Am I making enough money?
Right.
Am I networking enough?
Right.
And yes, like people need to realize the social media really have an effect on you. And I'm not afraid to say it, and and after I scroll through the social media and I feel that way, I'm like, dang, I shouldn't be feeling this way, because I'm doing my own thing. I work in my own pace, and that's who I am. I shouldn't be comparing myself to other people,
Exactly.
And so I kind of come back to the earth again, and I'm like, okay. And next time I'm scrolling through the social media, I'm like, no, like this is great. I don't need to compare myself. No,
Yeah.
And so like, yes, I do realize, that I shouldn't be comparing myself, but sometimes it creeps up,
Of course,
and I feel like, it does creep up on everyone, on somebody less or on somebody more.
Right.
And don't let the social media creep up on you.
Sure, I get you. Yeah. And it's like, and I feel like I don't know how, I don't know when, like, or how it's gonna make sense, but someday I'm going to post something. I'm gonna post something for those times. Like, I'm gonna post something for that. Like, it's gonna be me not doing anything. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to be like, yo, I'm not doing anything right now.
Yes.
Yes, I have some work to do, but I'm taking a break and I'm chilling.
Yeah.
Hashtag doing nothing. You know what I mean? Hashtag binge watch. Tell us about R.U.R. because this looks really exciting.
Mm-hmm. And, so I started this on my birthday last year, March 21st, 2017. And the original story of R.U.R., it is an actual book that is written by a Czech writer. And that is the name of the book. The whole name is Rozum's Universal Robots. And actually the word robot was created by this Czech writer. He gave the world the word robot. And I thought it's very cool because it comes from my country and I'm doing that style.
Yeah.
Yes. And so there was a couple people like, oh, yeah, you should have something of your own. Like, you should train more people. You should have this.
Right.
And I was thinking about it for so long. And I was like, I don't know. It needs to be something really special. And I have read this book a long time ago, a couple of years ago. It's also one of the books that we read in schools and stuff. And then I'm like, dang, I really want to do something with that because I think it's really special that word comes from my country.
Absolutely.
So then I started R.U.R. And what R.U.R. is, it's kind of a collective of people that I work with closely that are on the R.U.R. team, or is the R.U.R. students in training that are going to be, on the team one day, or they're going to be the strong individuals one day.
Sure.
So what I do is I have a music producer from Ukraine that I work really closely, and he's been doing like music for me when I needed like copyright-free music for TV shows and stuff. So then I have two designers that work with me on like flyers when we need like designs for this project, when we need designs for T-shirts and stuff like that. Then I have some social media people, and those are just the people that I are my good friends. I work with them closely. I know they're responsible, and when there is a job to do, I know that they will get it done. Right. And then I have students that are in training, and what I do, I pick my students. I have 4 as right now, and 2 are in choreography. 1 is in animation, and 1 she's in crump and choreography. So it's different, all different styles. So Rozum's Universal Robots is not about robots as the robots that you know.
Right.
It's about all kinds of different things, because in the book, the robots are humans made by human, and in the beginning of the book they don't have emotions, and then later they get the emotions and they take over the world.
Got it. Okay.
And and pretty much they are so good that they can do anything and everything.
Right. That's dope.
Cool.
Hey, that's
so I have those my 4 students, and every month I give them a challenge, and they have a certain time that they have to finish the challenge. And so
like challenge how? Like,
okay. I will explain. It's really cool actually.
Yeah.
So let's say I have my choreography people, right? And one day they dream of traveling the world and teaching choreography, or choreograph teams, go to competitions and stuff like that, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. We are going to focus on your goal.
Right.
But we are also going to focus on you having the general knowledge, because and I gave them this example, and they were like, okay, you're right, because if you ask Sean Evaristo, Lyle Beniga, Keone and Mariel, Anthony Lee, if you ask them about hip-hop history or anything about hip-hop culture, they know, even though it's not their style, but they know who created popping, even though it's not their style,
Right, of course.
So I'm like, okay, this month's challenge for you is to write 10-page essay on hip-hop history. And that way, they learn, they're still specializing on their choreography, but that way they learn the general knowledge. And it happened that, they did the essay and they're like, oh, this was really interesting. Like, I didn't know this, I didn't know that. I was researching more about this,
Right.
And so, for example, challenge like that. Or then I give them challenge of a concept video, because, they've never done a concept video. Or how are you supposed to do a concept video? So, okay, so it's like, okay, so you have to shoot it, edit it, choreograph it. You can have your dancers in it. You are the leader of it. This is your concept. Now go do it.
Right.
Your deadline is this time.
Right.
So I'm giving them different challenges like that every month, which makes them more versatile, but we are still focusing on their goal, which was like, okay, one of them told me, I really, really wish to teach at this one dance studio. I'm like, okay, let's work on that. And a couple of months later, he was teaching there,
That's amazing.
So I'm really trying to push them individually, really trying to, open their minds about different styles, because I don't want them to go out there traveling world and not knowing who created locking,
Of course.
Even though it's not their style,
Right, absolutely.
So this is how I train them.
That's amazing.
That's what R.U.R is about. It's more of a, the behind the scenes, like training, like really getting the knowledge, supporting each other, pushing each other out there more, giving each other critiques,
of course,
So
it's also like not just dance, but also like lifestyle, like so like for lack of a better phrase, like life coaching, right? You know what I mean?
Exactly,
from your perspective, that's amazing. That's incredible, man. But so are you guys? Are they all? I'm sorry. Are they all over the world?
Yeah. So we have the Bay Area, Oxnard, Dallas, Ukraine, Czech Republic, Bulgaria, and Colombia.
It's amazing. And these are all students that you found in just various workshops that you've done. And what particularly made you what particularly made these students stand out to you to be like, what made them stand out to you?
Yeah, so just to clarify, the students are from Bay Area, Oxnard, and Dallas. The other guys, they are in the R.U.R team that are not my students. They just work with me closely together. What made them stand out? I feel like first, I've worked with all of them for the past 4 to 5 years. So I've been working with them closely for a long time. And I just see, I either see their hard work or I see their talent, and I see that they're really interested and they really want to learn more and that they're serious about it, and they keep in contact with me. It's, a lot about communication, and like they really show the loyalty.
Absolutely.
So that's really what stand out for me.
That's really important, man. That's dope. And I'd imagine that they not only by having just direct contact with you, but they also have like incredible examples of a lot of the things that they are embarking upon, because you're not just telling them like, oh, make a concept video. You also have examples of concept videos that you've made, or like if they're talking about teaching, workshops and stuff like that, they can like, they have you do that as well. So you're not just like standing from a place of leadership, like, oh, I've done this. Like you're actually passing on the knowledge that you're acquiring as well, which is really, really dope. That's awesome. And then speaking of concept videos, that's what I want to talk about too. Because you've had some bangers, yo. You've had some bangers, like, and that also run the gamut of style. Like, you've done a video with Cyrus, like, shout out Cyrus. It was like super dope animation, and like really, really dope. And then you've gone Tight Eyes with B-Dash, Philip Shabib, like, you know what I mean? Like those styles are just like, it's all over the place. Do you know what I mean? Which is really, really dope. So what drives you to make those? And then you direct some of them as well, correct?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I think this is one of the things that I'm really glad that I learned from IAMMe, especially from Moon and Philip, was to really make the concept videos, like how to make it, how to produce it, how to direct it, how to shoot it,
Right.
Because yeah, I feel like nowadays there is so much content putting out there.
Yeah.
Even like easy content, just like a shooting choreography in a class, you know.
Sure.
But you know, when you do the concept video, it requires like completely different skill, you know.
Sure.
And yeah, I really, you know, it's the process that I enjoy. It's the process of like meeting with the person, talking about the concept, making the choreography, talking about the location, the costume, or what is the feel, what is the intention, what is the story behind it, you know. And yeah, I really enjoy the work process. And then when you have the end result, like you can go look at it like a couple years later, you look back at it, you're like, okay, this was really dope, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like there's stuff that happens like on the set, like you're stressed out, you're running out of time, or like you have to change the choreography, or this doesn't work, stuff like that. And it's a really good practice for like problem solving as well, you know. It's good practice for everything. Like I even edited myself some of those videos because I am really interested to learn more about all kinds of stuff. So I would sit there, just learn like, you know, how to edit stuff, how to color stuff, how to shoot stuff. Like I shoot some of my videos as well when I was working with other dancers, you know. So yeah, definitely one of my favorites. Of course, the latest one I did with B-Dash. There was a makeup artist that I knew for a couple of years, and I've been wanting to work with her. She lives in Boston, and we had a chance to perform in Boston, and I was like, okay, this is the time. Like, we are gonna do something with her. And we actually made the choreography in the first day. We made the whole choreography. The other 2 days, we were just cleaning it. And then the concept, you know, came like, we are like, oh, let's do some puppets, you know, because one time I saw the makeup artist do a really, I think it was, she did like a really cool puppet makeup, and I was like, dang, this would be a really dope dance video if we did that. And yeah, then the makeup took like 8 hours, so we were all day just being painted. For just this 2-minute performance that was completely worth it, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and yeah, even like there is some behind scenes like funny stuff that happened in the performance that people don't know, but we got off the stage and we're like, okay, the music had such a strong bass, like it didn't work out. And then the turning thing at home, it was turning faster because we were connecting it exactly like to the power, you know, without extension cord. And it's funny because the turning thing, sometimes it turned to the left, sometimes it turned to the right, and we didn't know what's gonna happen. So we had to have option A and option B choreography. So we were like, oh, we don't know which way it's gonna turn. And then we was like, oh, I'm turning this way, okay. And then because it was connected to extension cord in the performance, when B-Dash turned on the turning thing, it didn't turn at first. And I was like, dang. And then it was like, dun, dun. I was like, okay, let's go. Cool. And it was turning slower than we were expecting. I was like, okay, let's go. You know? So there's always like funny things behind the scenes that happen that people don't know. And that's what really makes the process fun as well, you know? So yeah, I'm really proud of that one. It was really fun.
That's dope. Now, do you typically tend to stay away from trying to recreate your past successes on videos? Meaning, like this video with B-Dash, like it's like a puppet master and puppets. If you guys haven't seen it, I'll also put a link up for it. I'll show you. If there's probably like a little clip playing right now as I'm talking about it. But so with the success of this, wildly successful, right? Do you tend creatively to then go, okay, that's that? Or do you see the creation of this and be like, all right, let's try to do something like that again?
I would say that with the puppets, I probably would not want to touch it again. Because, you know, it's like if you have a movie that's really good and then they make parts 2 and it's like,
of course.
So yes, we did think about it and we did talk about it. that we could make a part 2. I feel like if there was part 2, it has to be,
absolutely,
it has to be a banger. You
Sure,
know, it has to
sure.
be really mind blowing. But yeah, it's I usually tend not to recreate my old concepts. Yeah.
Now, do you think that has helped you from falling into the million trap? What I call it, you know what I mean? Like the million trap. And I ask this a lot. I've asked this on past episodes too, especially for those guests that I've had on that have had videos in the million views and things like that. You know, because I think it's easy now to go back, see what has been. See what the climate is, right? See what's working. What song is getting the most attention right now? What moves are getting the most attention right now, right?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, so do you think that mindset has kind of helped you to stay original? You know, like, do you kind of have that mindset with everything that you create?
Yeah, I think so. Actually, yeah, when I'm creating a video, I don't think about, okay, what is gonna get the views. You know, I
Right.
don't think about, oh, this is the song is gonna get views, or this is the moves that's gonna get views. No. I know that sometimes I'm creating a video and I know, okay, it's gonna probably get like 5,000 views on YouTube and that's it.
Right.
And you know, that's okay with me.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, of course.
Like for me, important is the result, and if I like it and if I'm satisfied with it.
Sure.
So yeah, definitely I'm not creating content for people to love it and get it on million views. No,
Right,
you know,
right.
if it does get million views, perfect, amazing.
All right.
I'm happy. You know?
Right, of
if
course.
it does not, it's okay.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know? Yeah.
You fell in love with the
Yeah.
process and learned everything.
Yeah.
That's great, man. That's awesome. Okay, final question. And this is something I think I've started a lot of first questions with you. Like, but anyway, okay. So, you know, I think I talked to you about it earlier. The Mount Rushmore, the piece Mount Rushmore, right? It's like 4 faces on Mount Rushmore of you know, founding fathers or whatever. If you could create your own Mount Rushmore with 4 faces on it, for teachers, influencers, mentors, whatever have you, that we would then look back on the life of Yaya and be like, okay, like, so she created this piece with these faces on it. Like, we should definitely go research these people and take the significance out of, you know, what she was putting down. So you get 4 faces. 5 is an honorable mention if you need a 5th.
Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, this is extremely hard.
Absolutely.
For
And
me.
also, let me also preface this by saying this. Don't be whack and be like, man, she didn't say my name. Like, don't be whack and do that. Like, that's, you know, you know, this is a limited thing, and it's 4 just 4. Like, yeah, just don't be whack.
Okay.
Like, and be hitting Yaya up and so I wasn't on your Mount Rushmore then. Like,
Okay, the pressure is on.
Yes.
Okay, I have a special reason for each of them. Okay?
Excellent.
So the first one, it's time-wise too. So the first one would be Link. Yeah, because he was the first hip hop I ever saw, because he has changed my life with the musicality, and because one day I dream of having the musicality that he has.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I dream of that. I'm working with it for 16 years now, still don't have it.
Hey.
The second one, which might be surprising, might not, is J-Rock.
J-Rock.
Yeah.
Word up. ABM. Word up. Yeah.
Because when I was 16 and I came out to Los Angeles the first time, he was the first popping teacher that really took me under the wing, and he was training me for years. And even when I came back to the Czech Republic, I would be sending him videos and he would always give me feedback. And he was always like, you know, like generally caring for my training.
Totally.
Anytime I would come to LA, he would be like, okay, let's train, you know?
Right.
So he was really big. Even though my style is completely different than his, he is a really huge influence on my style. Third one would be Philip. In general, his, you know, ideas for choreography, concepts, directory, like direction, producing, dancing in general, like creation, just everything. Like I got so influenced by him, you know, with everything, you know. And fourth one, and I have a fifth honorable mention too. Cool. Fourth one would be Beast, aka Baby Tight Eyes, because to me, no diss to anyone, but to me, he is the best crump teacher in the world. And my style has changed with him so much, and I got so much better since he started to train me. That definitely, I have to give him the fourth hat.
That's awesome.
You know,
absolutely.
The fourth statue.
Yep.
My fifth honorable mention would be Tight Eyes, of course, because he brought me into crump, and that's who I am today as right now. So yes, him definitely as well.
That's what's up. Yeah. Man, I love it. Thank you. Hey, the pressure is over. Yep. See, that's awesome. And that's like I like the explanation of each one. All of that makes sense. And I'm like, yo, all of them are major. That's that's amazing, man. Well, Yaya, thank you very much for coming through, man. And I'd like this to be the first conversation of many. You know what I mean? And like, you know, next time we check in, you know, R.U.R is going to be in a completely different space. You're going to be in a completely different space, and we're going to be excited to watch you grow. And with that, where can we find you on the socials and the interweb?
Everything is at Jaja Vankova.
Boom. There you go. You have no excuses.
No excuse.
Make sure you're checking up on it. Boom. Yeah, thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
And thank y'all.